Pleasure to have you. Pleasure to be talking to you. It's my
Thanks.
privilege. Just as an introduction, Vivek joined us in 2019, and you joined from and I was the only person who actually interviewed you, and I still remember where we did the interview and all. And I think we talked for 10 minutes, 15 minutes,
10 minutes.
and you're in. You're one of our superstars today. What do you think happened in the interview? Can you share your experiences?
It was actually a kind of a mysterious interview. Basically, I was not aware. The timing got changed in between, so it was actually scheduled at 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm sure that nobody will remember these details, but it was scheduled at 1:30 in the afternoon, and I was actually called at 1 o'clock. And I was in my previous class. I don't know why, but I'm not such a kind of a person. But on that day, fortunately or unfortunately, I was attending the class before that, and people called me to the class and they told me like you have to come for the interview, and I had to go change and come. I was completely out of sync. I was not in mood at all. And fortunately, I came in and you made me feel very comfortable in the first place. The interview was fantastic. And I just, after 15 minutes, I remember I came out and then it was a complete experience. I just thought, okay, I did well. I came out and it's been like 2 months later, I came to know I got placed. Actually, it was a miscommunication from the college side. We didn't receive the information properly. And later, I received the email from Vuram through which I came and joined. It's when I say it really quick, but it's really a mysterious experience. I was never expecting that I'll get selected because I was not in the right mood and I felt like I was not in sync. I came at the wrong timing. Everything was wrong, but fortunately I'm here.
I think it's fortunate for us. Uh, we know what you've done in the last 3 years. It's just been 3 years since you graduated, but you're already leading one of the large projects for us. So that shows a lot about you. And I think we're glad that we get to work with you. So talking about getting to work with you, obviously a big role in our lives is our family. Can you just quickly tell us about your family? And
My family is really small. I'm not a person who has grown up with my grandparents and all. Just been my mother, my dad, and me. Just three people. I'm a single child. Probably never had siblings. So fond of cousin sisters, cousin brothers. So probably that's it. Most of the time it's been
so you, your mother, and
and
your
father. Yes.
father in the house.
Yes.
One of those days, I think it was during COVID when you and I had another chat for another just a general catch up. You were telling about a very interesting project you undertook. If I remember correctly, your father was going to construct a terrace, and you said, "Look, why spend the money?" And you took on a project, and you created a thatched roof, and you started taking calls, and you set up the whole place. I don't think anybody thinks like that. So tell us about what you did and your experience in that, and why you did that.
It's pretty interesting because my father is very fond of houses, cars, and stuff. So he really wants to manage. He's a person who regularly gives his bike to service. He takes care of it really well. He wanted to construct a house. Our house is a 2 BHK house. He wanted to make it as a 3 BHK one, construct a bedroom on the top. And we are three people in the house. 3 BHK for three people is, according to me, not needed. And I was about to say him it's a waste of money, all those things. And then I told him like, let's construct a hut on the top of the house. Basically, it's a hut, and let's see how much we use it. Based on that, we can decide if we want to build a house or not. And I told him that this is the budget with which you're going to do that, and it was like fraction of the cost that would cost. It's really cheap, and I started working there. It's a much peaceful place, and my father eventually realized that he does not need a 3 BHK, and today he's really fine that he's happy that there is a hut and not a room that was built.
So is it fair to say that the hut, or I would call it your workroom, is that still intact? Like, are you finding any structural problems with it, or
It's been like 1 year and 2 months, and still it's good. It's working. Only rainy times are slightly. That too, with another for 500 rupees, we can solve that problem.
another 500 rupees?
Yeah, it's
So I'll come to that money angle, because when you and I have interacted, you've shared few other thoughts with me. Um, how did you learn? Did you outsource any work? Like, did you get a construction guy? Did you get anybody to help you with all of it, or you did all of it your own?
it was not by my own. We took in people, but it was a half day work. We planned it like we have to have it in this much square feet in this much place, and we just told them that this is the requirement. It should be a place where you can sit peacefully. We don't have to make it really big. So it all depends on if you are building a house. It's more about stones, and you can build as long as you want. But when you are building with hut, right, you have to build with the size of the stick. You can't tie two sticks and make it larger. So there are structural constraints.
Beautiful. So see, this clearly tells me that whatever you've done in your life, you've done it from the basics. You've understood the basics, and that is probably what has made you a superstar so quick here within 3 years, leading such a large project. Now, I do want to go to another angle that you just talked about, money. Um, told you this a few times. I've been blown away by your thought process, right? I think one day you came back and said, if people keep asking more money, it's probably because their needs keep growing. Why are we looking at money from a lifestyle perspective? Things that I need a PhD to probably understand, right? And then recently we had this Vuram nodes or lunch session where we all were talking about music. So there was this music group, and I was telling A. R. Rahman is my favorite, and somebody was saying Raja, somebody was saying R.D. Burman, and we were explaining music. You came in and you said, music is a form of an abstract expression. It's poetic in nature. It allows you to express your thoughts and not require you to complete it. It's not like language. I think this is what you like. These words are etched in me because I was like, wait, everybody is saying music is beats, music is A. R. Rahman, music is this, and here's a guy who talks music in a very different angle. Where is your thought process coming from? It's very different from what normally I've seen or my thought process. Where are you getting it all from? What do you read? What's your source of inspiration?
I read a lot of late. I have never read a book until I'm 21. So I'm very
And you're 22 now, probably.
23, 24. So last 3 years is when I started reading because I didn't have enough information. So I thought it's good to take in. Until then, I was probably processing my own thoughts. So mostly, I think I just go with the why. Always start with the why. So we can start with the why when we say somebody gives you a course in the college and says you to read it. Probably I tried all those things that I did without learning how you can pass the exam when I was in school, right? So this is the approach that I followed for a long time, and eventually figured out it doesn't work because once you do something, if you don't fulfill the objective and you get the result, it's not working. It's just that I can copy in an exam and get passed today, but tomorrow if I go, I should still start from scratch and copy.
Absolutely.
So this is something that I learned practically by doing mistakes. And from college, I think I never ever, even somebody's paper flew and came to my page, I just take it and give it to you and I write. I don't really care. I don't really care what you wrote. I know what I'm writing. If I fail, I fail. If I pass, I pass. So that's something that's how my thought process started to evolve. So when you process information in such manner, right? So when you come to music, it sees like why and what is the difference? What is the difference between me talking and me singing or writing a poem? It is just that if I write a poem, I read it today, it makes some sense. If I read it 5 years later, it makes a different sense. The one I wrote, not somebody else's perspective. So that's when I found out like art can be abstract. It need not be something that's precise. If it's precise, you can write an essay on it. Why should you write a poem or a music? So that's how it's.
So this is fantastic, and I hope a lot of people who wherever we post this content, I hope a lot of people see this because a person who's 23, you said, within such a short span, professionally leading, and from a personality angle, such a mature thought process. What do you think in your life? What life incidents do you think would have allowed you to think this way? Do you attribute this to any particular thing? School, parent? What do you think?
I think basically most of the time fear drives people. So
Fear
drives people. And fortunate enough that I have felt very secure in my life all the way through that I have never been insecure or afraid of anything. So if I want to do something, I'll go do it. And if it is wrong, people will punish me, and then I'll come to know it is wrong. Do it the right way. So that's one classic example when I copied in exams and I found out it's not sustainable. You can't go and copy in every exam hoping that the next person is going to be intelligent. What if a person who's dumb comes and you still fail? And also something that I learned was slowly when you do that, your beliefs start getting corrected, and you're not doing the right things because somebody told it's right. It's because you know it doesn't work if you do it the wrong way. And classic example is again when I come to my 12th standard, I was failing continuously because the next person was not intelligent. Every time I was failing.
So practice started in third standard.
School, 12th standard.
12th.
So I was failing continuously. So then I realized that this is not a sustainable way. If I read for one exam, if I get 30, next exam if I don't read also I can get 30 because I have read something in the past, I have understood something in the past. So I thought whatever you do, it should be sustainable. It should be long-termly compounding at least to an extent. So these things just came from those aspects. So when I did the wrong things, I was punished earlier, and I was so fortunate that I did those mistakes very early in my life.
Nice. I think if I may have to summarize that, I think you probably looked at every incident in your life and you always look to what to learn, what to not learn also. Maybe that's what you've been doing. Fantastic. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about work-life balance, stress at work, and all these things. What is your general take on this work-life balance?
And when before answering that question, I'd like to put a small disclaimer that I come from a very fortunate background. I'm not somebody who's stressed to watch anything in my life. I have not seen it like that. When I was in college or school or any place, I have not been stressed to do anything. So I always felt like when you're in college, nobody told you like this is your college life, this is your life. When you're at school, nobody told me like this is your school life. You completed schooling, you have come home, no play, don't study. Nobody told that to me. I was not grown up in that fashion. And when it come to work also, it is like when you wanted to do something, when you really want to do something, you don't actually think like how many hours have been passed, how much of life you have lived. According to me, like you have 24 hours a day. You have to live it. You like it or not, you have to live it until you die. So that is how I see life. And you have 24 hours as a resource. You can use it to what you want to use it. Finally, like if you are doing something that you really don't want to do, then better not do it. Again, I'm saying this because I'm fortunate. I have the choice that I can take. I want to do, I can do. If I don't want to do, I cannot do. I can do that. I have that liberty. I'm not sure if everybody will have that, but from my perspective, I think it's more important to do what you want to do. Then 24 hours will go by, and probably 30, 40 years can also go by like that. It's just like a short
If you
span
keep
of
doing
time.
what you really like, whether it's work or whatever your
Anything.
passion is, then there isn't a. It's not like 8 hours this, 4 hours.
4
this.
hours.
It's about
Yeah.
what do you like. It's very valid, very valid. I think we agree there also. You know some stories, and I know some stories about you. Great. I want to ask one final question. So you've told us about your thought process. You've told us about a little bit about your, your events in life which has shaped the way you think. You've been with Vuram for about 3 years now. You're growing. You're one of our superstars, and a lot of positives is ahead of us. What do you think is the similarity, or what do you think is your attraction towards Vuram, or what at Vuram is something that you like that aligns with your thought process, your principles, your vision? Can you tell us about that?
Probably it's a coincidence that I'm also a part of the culture team now, so I can easily answer this question. So probably I will go to the sheet of 12 principles that we have, right? So that is something that attracted me a lot. The first day I came, I still remember sitting and studying those things and thinking how somebody has figured out that this is what it should be done. It is kind of pitch perfect, right? So if you do all those 12 things together, things are going to be fine. And one of the things that I really like was freedom. You have the freedom to go and talk to anybody, to ask anybody what you want, and of course you should have the responsibility to do it. And I think you know me personally. I right from the day when I was going to and asking to persons like, can I do something here, can I do something there? So it is something that I like, because saying that this is your job, just do it and go, it doesn't suit me much. So when you have the freedom that you can go and ask people, you can learn from different things, different angles, different perspectives, and nobody has really questioned me until date like, why are you coming and sitting here? So that's something that's fantastic. Like they came, they welcome you with hospitality, they just treat you. If you ask for work, they give you work. If you say like you're busy, you're not able to do, they understand that. So that's something that's fascinating. That's something that said like previous answer, right? What keeps you happy, engaged is people around you understand you, and they give you what you like. And if you say that you are not comfortable doing certain things, they give it to some other person who will be liking that.
Absolutely.
So that's something that's fascinating. You don't have stress if you do that.
Super. There's so much to talk, but I think we'll probably wrap this particular discussion. Pleasure having you. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.